Your brain is an algorithm. I mean that in the exact same sense as the algorithms in your social media. In its functioning and responsiveness, your brain is just like the algorithm you interact with on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, nearly any app or website. The function of those algorithms is to tailor your experience with those apps to be as specifically and uniquely fitting for you personally as possible, meaning it caters to your tastes, your interests, your preferences, your loves and hates, your patterns and routines, your style, your use of language, your finances, your location, your social connections, your hobbies, your level of education, really any factor at all related to who you are and how you experience both the world around you as well as yourself. YouTube is a brilliant example of this. YouTube works very hard to quickly understand the ways you use it and what kinds of videos you engage with the most. Are you often looking for educational content? Things that give you in-depth information about science, history, maybe philosophy? Maybe it's more of a quick tool for how-to videos to show you the correct way to perform a task. Or do you regularly use it just to kill time, watching something funny, something silly? Some people look for inspirational material, videos that help them feel better or make realizations about themselves and how they think about their lives and the worlds around them. Even if you have no specific intention at all when you open the app or visit the website, there still are certain things you are drawn to, certain types of videos that you will undoubtedly click on and likely even finish entirely. And the algorithm wants to know what those things are so they can show them to you. It's not all necessarily manipulation or something nefarious. They do want you to use their app as much as possible and feel like it's extremely interesting, but at the same time, you also get a personalized experience. You get to consume things that are exactly what you're looking for, which means more entertainment, if that's what you're seeking, or more knowledge, or more inspiration, or more of whatever it is that you want. With this definition of what technological algorithms are doing, you might be starting to see how the same might also apply to the algorithm in your brain. But let's discuss in detail and see how that could really be a good thing for you if you use it the right way. Just like an algorithm, your brain customizes your experiences to fit who it believes you are and how it's noticed you tend to interact with the things around you and with yourself. If you are an artist who constantly needs to access creative thinking, your brain will make that more accessible. It will adapt to enhance your creative side, making that way of thinking more familiar and free-flowing. It might allow you to be more open to daydreaming and ease any rigidity and understanding that might obstruct your creative process. If you're someone who is very emotional, your brain will take the liberty of translating most experiences into some kind of emotional currency. It will attach to your perception a package of significant emotional information. Emotion will tint everything you see around you and your expectations for the scenarios you engage with. Something that is true about both your brain and the algorithms in our media is that the more you engage with them, the more you become of the traits it notices in you. That can absolutely be useful, like with the example of someone creative potentially becoming even more creative, or with someone seeing endless videos about their hobby on YouTube, becoming even more passionate and more committed to that hobby. But it can also be problematic. Media algorithms can reinforce negative traits and destructive ideals by pushing more and more related content to those it notices might have an affinity for them. Your brain too will push more of the negative things it might see in you. It will only make it easier to be more fearful and to expect the worst the more you engage with your life in that kind of a way. It will make negative self-talk more and more accessible the more it sees that that's something you seem to use. Just like on any app, you might see yourself spiral deeper and deeper into some aspect of yourself you might not necessarily want to further. That hopefully isn't too disheartening, because this problem is solved the same way you can correct your algorithm in an app. You can intentionally seek out new content. You can intentionally search for things you want the algorithm to show you more of. If you suddenly look up and watch several TED Talk videos on YouTube, the algorithm will understand there's been an update to your interests, or at the very least, there's another component to who you are that it might not have been aware of before. So it will have to make room for this by showing you more potential TED Talk videos, and maybe even other videos similar to TED Talks. The only way to do that is to push out some of the other things it was already showing you. Most likely the things you seem to have lost interest in, or don't really fully define who you are significantly enough. Our brains do the same. You could have lived as a very pessimistic and unconfident person for years, always expecting failure and shame, and your brain over the years responded in kind. But if you intentionally introduce new content for your brain's algorithm to notice, it will have to make changes to accommodate this update. It will have to make room for any confident thoughts you start to introduce. It will have to react to any confident actions that you've taken. It will make confidence more relevant, more noticeable, and more accessible because it sees you engaging with confidence. And in order to do so, it will make the things you stopped engaging with less relevant and less accessible, such as that previous shame, fear, and hopeless expectations. And all of this applies to any characteristic or aspect to yourself. You can grow into being exactly who you'd like to be. You can accomplish the greatest version of yourself simply by engaging with your personal algorithm differently, by intentionally introducing content that speaks to what you want more of, instead of what you fear, what you dislike. So just choose what you'd like to be more of. You might not be an artist yet, but if you search for enough art-related videos on YouTube, if you watch enough how-tos and see enough of other people's art content, after a while you'll absolutely be on your way to being an artist.